Hello there folks and welcome back to my YouTube channel, a place where I discuss different topics like spirituality, deeper introspection and analysis of different games. This time I come with another video on a series that I decided to call Wisdom Shorts, and this time it's gonna be a topic that everyone loves and it's called memes. And of course, since I'm an incurable punsmith, I kind of felt the reason to um, actually not a reason I felt like calling these actually meme-tism and also meme-tease m, okay, from tease which is teasedom, because well, in an occult sense of speaking, basically memes are a mind virus, okay? Now, I'm not gonna be the type to actually say memes are cool and memes are awesome, because well, everything that regards the aspect of meaning, that is given and accepted by each and everyone at their own accord. Now, are memes actually evil, or what am I implying? Well, memes are just a tool, okay? Like everything else in this world, memes are nothing else than a tool, and they make for a fantastic way to socialize. However, people are using them in a sense that is kind of low vibrational. Now, I'm not gonna start talking on topics like, the way the ones New Age spiritualists follow, which kind of seems more like an agenda to simply confuse people rather than actually help them with all sorts of things like the flow of distraction, and as I call it. But memes can actually, and in many situations, unfortunately, they are used in bad ways. Now, what do I mean? Well, first of all, memes are a funny distraction, I can say, from different things, and people with low self-esteem will always cling to memes to simply distract them, but unfortunately this distraction is what usually keeps people poor, because usually distractions, okay, are the only thing that poor people can afford, okay. That is why successful people rarely distract themselves and usually focus on the harder jobs, okay, or on the harder part of life, so that you can make your life much easier. Now, it doesn't mean that if people use memes in a bad way, they necessarily are bad. Well, except when they are made to make fun of different, disabled people, or unfavored parts of society. Well, that's when they can become a bit mean. They can be somewhat unoriginal. But when it comes to memes, it actually is a nice way of having fun. However, the problem behind memes is most people kind of don't realize is that what a meme basically is in psychology is a mind virus. Okay, I actually read a book called Meme, or Memul, where as you pronounce it in Romanian, because meme is kind of a plural if I don't if I call it correctly. But apparently it was adopted as a singular. I'm not sure about that, but it's mem in Romanian, and well, I think memuri would be the plural, because usually Romanian adopts the neutral gender for foreign words when they are put in the plural. Now, why I call them meme-tism, okay, is from mimetism, okay, the ability to camouflage yourself and, look like something else. Because this is basically what memes are. When you adopt other people's memes, you adopt basically energy from them, and that basically makes you a bit more like others instead of being like you. Sure, there are good way of, showing off or doing some nice jokes when the group of friends actually needs it, but again, it's at a subconscious level. Usually, memes are a way that they are something that portrays the lack of attention that many people nowadays have. This is something that perpetrated through thousands of generations, because no one was there for parents ever since those thousands of generations. No one was there to actually tell people how to correctly raise their children. So it's always been a sense of abuse and a sense of power, in the sense that I, as the parent, created you, so I have full power and I can also destroy you. And this has perpetrated for so long, and unfortunately it's not the best way to actually raise a society, because the way you raise the younger generations, that's how it's gonna influence future generations. So, are memes evil? Are memes bad? Well, no, nothing is good or bad in this world. How you make use of those can be to your own detriment or can be to your own improvement, and at the same time to the improvement or the detriment of the others around you. So, why am I calling these as meme tease or tease them? Like a pun from mimetism. It's because a meme is basically a virus, and the purpose of this virus, okay, is to simply distort your mind. When you accept memes in your mind, they are creating small changes in your behavior, because in order to accept something, you have to identify yourself with that. And many people unconsciously identify themselves with energies they don't know, because memes are usually sent by people who don't have much to do, or even by people who do have things to do. I'm not trying to demonize people who create or savor memes, because they are a way of life for some people, and we have to realize. Now, memes are also funny because they're also a very potent source, not necessarily of knowledge, but they are a very potent source of information. Okay, I'm not saying information in the sense of getting culturalized, but you have to understand that memes are so much more based on images rather than on text, because even if there is a text, the image will always be worth much more. Okay? And which other civilizations would rely heavily on images? Of course, the ancient civilizations, like for example the Egyptians, they used a lot of text. Sure, why would we actually, take into account those? Well, it's not that writing images instead of words can be, more cultural. Like imagine, for example, Japanese and kanji. Okay, because kanji are basically replicas of images. That's not necessarily the smartest way to create a writing system, because it's been a plague for the people for so long, but they're still clinging to it as if there's nothing better than that. Still, using images and words coupled is not a bad way, because they are very suggestive. However, the point is, what you're pointing out, what you're putting out through those images will influence a lot of people, especially if you are an influencer. So again, memes may not necessarily be bad, but they can be used in such ways. And again, they are nothing else than a distraction, because any meaning that you create in this life is usually a distraction. Sure, you cannot live life fully rejecting any meaning, but the point is, usually memes will warp your mind. You give in to too many of those, you will give in to too many distractions, and as I wanted to say, and which is the focus of this video, the more you put attention outwards is the more you forget who you are, and basically the more you get tainted by other people's vibrations. Usually, as of what I've been seeing on numerous forums, they are a way to exchange, different ideas, and they're becoming a bit more and more painful. Not the usage is necessarily painful, but they're pointing out the painful reality that people are becoming shyer and shyer. Now, what I see shyness, and of course I've been guilty of this as well, is usually a pathetic excuse to not do something, and usually putting that face that, hey, I'm a bit shy about that. No, you're not shy, you're just playing a game in which you play the victim and you don't want to do something because whatever reasons you have invented for that. And because of this shyness, memes will always explode each and everywhere, because people will prefer using memes. Now, another disappointing factor of memes and why they can be damaging to one's health is these memes usually come with a certain feel of expectation, because when people put out memes, they put them out with an expectation that people will actually react to them and manifest, some sort of attention. Subconsciously speaking, this is also a bit of a vampirizing, because when you put something out and people think about that, they're actually sending you a bit of their energy. Why do you think that the news, for example, is so prevalent? Okay, the news is very prevalent because, well, they are drawing people's attention. They are feeding off of people's attention because people don't feel like doing something else other than sending their attention towards whatever reality uh, the news would warp. Because you can't always say that what the news present is necessarily true. Don't forget that um, the news forecast comes with an own sense of subjectivity. So as long as there is subjectivity in something, there is definitely gonna be interpretation, and where there's interpretation, there's definitely straying away from the true reality. Okay, just because someone says something, it doesn't have to be fully true. What people say is usually their impression, and only their impression, not necessarily what reality is like. So, on the other hand, memes can actually be very funny because, well, why not? You can think of all the puns in there, you can think of all the ingenious ways they are using, but you have to understand that the way memes are used against you, or basically knowing that they are nothing else than a distraction, the point is moderation is key, just like with everything else. Memes are all usually the most found, or memes usually proliferate the most on social medias, and there it's usually people who I'm not gonna be evil and say people have no life, but you know, it's something kind of like that because people, many of them uh, put up fake lives on social media because that's what they are. They are a void, they are null, because that's the unfortunate reality of these present times. The newer generations have, again, the same lack or even worse of a lack of attention because, well, these are far more calm periods of time. There are no more famines and there are no more wars like in the medieval times. Okay, these are far more comfortable times, and people can actually settle in much better. Though this comfort can easily become a new prison for the mind, which kind of still is, but the point is, parents may have a lot more time now to focus on their children. But again, everyone is focusing on their little distractions because focusing on the hard points in life to, you know, rid yourself of those and make your life easier is definitely something that people feel too shy about. And as I've been saying, shyness is nothing else than a very pathetic excuse to simply not do certain things. Okay? It's not that you're being shy, you just consider that your voice sucks, or you've just created a bitch shield that you suck, you don't have enough power, all sorts of things like that. That, of course, society, school, teachers, parents, and even some of your friends may have imposed upon you again and again, but that is no reason to say that you would actually suck. Or, I don't know, find any reason not to carry on with something that you want, especially if you know that it's gonna be quite good, or at least it's something that you follow. That also includes meme creation because, well, memes are a way of actually amusing other people, and I think there can I think there are YouTubers who actually do full-time YouTube as well as, memes because they are a very great way of relaxing. And with this coronavirus, the cunt virus as I call it, and the pandemic, because it's always been planned. If you don't believe it, just do your research and look at the years 17, 20, 18, 20, 19, 20, and now 2020, and you'll see that there's been a pandemic in each of those. So every 100 years, there's probably something ritualistic going on. So, are actually memes evil? Well, they can be used in evil ways. They can be used to warp people's minds into different ways because people are very young. Every time I go on or end up basically said, or just like the Vikings, I get lost in some realms, some of those awkward realms of the internet. I usually see and feel a lot of young energy and attention seeking and things like that, expectations. These are usually the prerequisites of disappointments. Okay, now I'm not trying to demonize memes, but to me they are nothing else than a pinpoint of the pain and sadness of this world. Okay, if people rely on memes to gain a bit of attention, it means that socialization is kind of on the verge of extinction, which is a bad thing for humanity because we are social beings. Okay, and well, people may want to enjoy their solitude and the prison of their own house's comfort as much as they want, but they have to remember that we live in a society, and if you want to develop socially in a strong and healthy way, you have to always keep socializing with people, even with not the right people, because that's how you actually end up learning how people are, how people function, how people think. You'll definitely not know everything, but it's better to know a bit about different types of people. At least a bit, at least a part, so that you can have an easier time in reading people. Okay, people reading is a very important skill to have and only comes with socializing. Okay, you cannot learn that from games, you cannot learn that from simulators, you'll only learn that from doing the real thing, which is reality. So all this being said, hopefully you like the type of content that I'm creating. Feel free to like and subscribe, click the notification bell. If you want more of these, feel free to check my other contents, which usually implies my gameplays with the Lost Vikings in Heroes of the Storm, things and a few events on my video game projects that I'm working on, well, mostly one of the two, and other content on spirituality and introspection, and from time to time game analysis. All this being said, take care of yourselves, you are loved and appreciated. Stay awesome, Ferenjan Board signing out.